Namaste. This is the palm chart of a person who is suffering from delusional disorder from the year 2022. That is from this year when I am recording this video. Now, see, the thing is, we have to analyze this palm chart based on two different parameters. One is from astrological point of view and the other one is from the astropalmistry point of view. So we have to use both the parameters to identify why this particular problem arises in any person's life. Let's say, for example, mental illness, mental disorder, or some kind of stress related issues, or delusional disorder, or anything similar. Now you can see from the palm is soft. The palm has got mounts which are quite kind of spongy, and you can see that the palm has got lot of lines, line grid, and it shows that the person has got some kind of hypersensitivity related to his behavioral disposition, and it also suggests that the person might act impulsively. These are the two things that one can see, but that is just the basic palmistry, the overview. What we have to do now is to go deep into the astropalmistry symbols and signs, if any, that are found on this palm, and we would certainly delve deep into it. Now, the first thing which I would like to actually describe here is the Kaaga Rekha. Okay, now anywhere you find this Rekha, Varaha Mihir has very clearly mentioned in Brihad Jatakam that Kaaga Rekha is considered very, very inauspicious. It can lead to problems, it can lead to sorrow, it can lead to disappointments, it can lead to a downfall, so and so forth. It can even lead to health issues if it is placed in a particular format and orientation. So what we have to now look at is the Kaaga Rekha in this palm. If you observe carefully, I'm just zooming in, you can see here this particular part. Kindly observe this particular part. This is the Kaaga Rekha. Okay, let me draw this. This is the Kaaga Rekha on the fate line, on the Shani Rekha. This Kaaga Rekha can lead to lot of problems. Let us see when it is going to get activated and when the deactivation will happen. So if you look at this particular point, this is age 32. And if you look at this particular point, unfortunately I've drawn, let me just remove this now that you know what is Kaaga Rekha. Okay, well, see this part. This is age 32 and this is age 48. Therefore, you can see that this particular Kaaga Rekha is active on the Shani Rekha from the age 32. This guy was born in 1990. It means age 32 would correspond to this year 2022, and rightly so. He has complained, and or rather he is he told me that he is suffering from this particular delusional disorder. It is very clear from the palm. But the problem is that we should know when this when this issue will be sorted out, or when he will get cured of this. There is some hope, but because this Rekha which comes out and this Rekha which comes out does give some hope, but a long-standing issue is generally seen here because of the Kaaga Rekha. Though the support lines are giving some kind of you can say relief, they are not going to solve the issue completely. There will the issue will persist until the age 48, unfortunately. Okay, now that is what we see from the palm, and that's how we identify why this particular problem exists. But we have to know the reasons from an astrological point of view. So let us see from the astrological point of view. Let's first get an overview of this chart. If you see this chart, Dhanu Lagnam, Shani is retro, Shani is in Lagna, Shani is third lord in Lagna, Shani is second lord in Lagna Marak, and of course third lord is not a desirable placement. Third lord in Lagna and second lord, especially Shani, and that too retro, is not desirable. And when the roots, one of the roots, which is Makar Rashi, has got a tamograha, it is not desirable. It is not going to give good results. That is one part of it. If you look at the dasha here, okay, the dasha, now there is always a controversy when it comes to dasha, because as I've been telling you from year 2020, I have done some research on Vimshottari Dasha based on certain parameters of Astropalmistry, that is Nadi parameters. I have introduced some modification in the Vimshottari Dasha. Let me be very honest, that Lahiri True is a very beautiful Ayanamsha, but it fails to give the trigger kind of periods properly. I've seen this, so we have to change the Ayanamsha. This is my personal opinion. You may like it or you can just discard it, it's fine. But my personal opinion is that we need to do some modification to the Vimshottari Dasha sequence. Now the modification cannot be just done by changing the Ayanamsha alone. We have to change lot of other things. Okay, now that is clearly based on the palm, and that's how I determine. I may explain that in the later videos, but for now we will just stick to why this is Jupiter Saturn, and it started in 2022, that is January 2022. Okay, right now we are in May 2022, so it started in January 2022. So it is very clear that Jupiter Saturn Dasha is active. What is Jupiter? Jupiter is the Lagna Lord, is the Lagnesh. Lagna Lord is Jupiter. Where is he placed? He is placed in the 8th house. Obviously not a very good placement, and it is exalted. Again, as you remember or as you know, that in Nadi there are many rules. One of the rules is that when Jupiter is placed with Ketu and is exalted, then the first thing that you should observe is where is Shani or where is Rahu or where is Mars. If Shani, Rahu or Mars are placed in its Mool Trikona Rashi, which is Dhanu here, obviously this exalted Jupiter will never give good results. And that is seen from the palm. Of course, you should not pronounce any judgment immediately. You have to look at this part also. I have done some videos on this. You can refer to my videos based on this particular part of Jupiter line. Okay, so you will get an idea why. Because this is a Jala Tattva, Jala Rashi, Jala Tattva Rashi, and what happens here, and this is ruled by Moon. So what happens here, you very well know. I have explained that in one of the older videos on the Jupiter lines. Jupiter line getting influenced by Moon or Jala Tattva. What happens, especially when its Mool Trikona Rashi has got some kind of tamograha. In this case, the tamograha is Saturn, and it's of course class 1 malefic. People might say that Shani is judge, Shani is karmakarak. Shani is karmakarak obviously, but Shani is judge, Shani is this and that. Frankly speaking, Shani is a tamograha, first class malefic. It's not going to do anything good unless you have other controlling parameters or factors. Okay, so let's be straight here. So the first thing is that the Jupiter Mool Trikon Rashi is definitely afflicted. Jupiter himself is afflicted because of Ketu. Of course, if you want to use Navamsh, you can see that the Jupiter is Vargottam. Vargottam Graha generally, as per Kerala Paddhati, let me be very clear, as per Kerala Paddhati, Vargottam Graha is not necessarily going to give excellent results. No, it will magnify the results. Good, bad, I don't know. It magnifies the result. Therefore, in this case, because it is exalted and it is Vargottam and it is in 8th and it is with Ketu and it has got its Moola Trikona Rashi afflicted, this Vargottam Graha is going to amplify the effects. And what amplification will happen? Let's see what happens. Jupiter is the 4th lord, and we know that the 4th and the 5th are generally seen to detect any mental illness, anything related to mind or brain or emotion, EQ or IQ, or you can say morality, etc., etc. You have to check these two houses or bhava. Lord of 4th is Jupiter, obviously. Therefore, this is going to affect the mind. Fourth is the home environment. 4th is the mental peace, mental poise. This is definitely going to get affected. The Manakarak is generally moon in both Nadi as well as in Parashari or in Hora Shastra. The moon is in a Shatru Rashi. The moon is in the 10th house. Obviously, 10th house means it has lost Digbal. Moon has definitely lost Digbal. Okay, and moon's Rashi has got a malefic, right? So, in a way, moon probably is not really good. Also, because the moon is within the 72 degrees, within 72 degrees of sun, it is not going to give the good results, especially when it also is the 8th lord. As we know in Kerala Paddhati, we say that the Ashtama dosh does affect the moon. I don't know, it depends on the Paddhati that you use. For sun it doesn't, but for moon, Ashtam dosh does give damaging results. And now that the moon has also lost his Digbal and also it is in the Shatru Rashi, and moreover it is aspecting the 4th, which itself means mental poise and home environment or mental peace. So it is definitely going to get affected. Moreover, the Shani, the Tamograha, is also aspecting with its 10th drishti. Now in Parashari or Kerala Paddhati, 10th drishti of a retro planet, which is Mahavakri. It's not Anuvakri. Mahavakri Graha is very potent. Okay, so that is also seen, and I can see that yes, there is some, you can see the ridges. Yes, the ridges do suggest that yes, the 10th drishti, though you can see that the ridges here have slightly curved. It shows that the Shani seems to be Vakri. Yes, Vakri, but to what extent I am not able to predict, because the palm is having too many lines, unfortunately. Yes, but it's Vakri and it has certainly got some influence of moon, though Jupiter is more kind of prominent here, and Shani only plays the role of destroyer, okay, or the one who damages the Rashi here of the Jupiter. So that's this part. Now look at the Venus. Now the 6th lord is Shukra. 6th lord is lord of diseases. 6th lord is Venus. Venus is directly aspecting Shani, which is in Lagna. Therefore Venus is also aspecting the Lagna. Now if you look at the Dasha in Kerala Paddhati, again I'm specifically mentioning Kerala Paddhati for the reason that there should be no confusion later on that we use this we don't use that. So I'm making it very clear that I use Kerala Paddhati and I consider it very accurate. So Here you can see that the Shani is Antardasha because Jupiter's Mahadasha is there. Therefore, we have to focus a lot on the Antardasha of Shani, and especially because it is Vakri. And now, when the Vakri Graha's Antardasha is active, and the Venus, which is the sixth lord, also aspects the Shani, which is in the Lagna, it will definitely pass on some of its Karakatvas, Bhava Karakatvas to Shani, which is disease, which is trigger, which is something related to whatever disease here, whatever it represents. Of course, that one has to understand here 1-4 is the Jupiter, and then you have 2-3 which is the Shani, and it is placed in Lagna. Therefore, all the khatarnak aspects are now projected towards the Lagna. That means the self, the person is going to get affected. Moreover, the Shani is getting influence from the Venus, which is the sixth lord. Let us look at Mars. I have seen lot of charts where now this is just a additional factor, supplementary thing. It's not the only thing. Any Tamo Graha, although Mars is not fully malefic here, being Trikona Lord, but it is also 12th Lord. Okay, so it's not 100% benefic, given that it is also Tamograha. Mars in the 5th can definitely cause problems related to temper, aggression, because 5th also relates to EQ, emotional quotient, so it can kind of infiltrate into those aspects of EQ and can destabilize the person. I'm not saying that it will always destabilize, it can destabilize. If you also observe that the Ketu here sitting in the 4th in a Jala Tattva Rashi is also aspecting the 4th house. Besides the moon, it is also aspecting the 4th house. That is another factor that is playing out here. Again, Jupiter, which is the Lagna Lord, is apparently combust. Yeah, I have my doubts about it, but let us assume that it is combust here. For the sake of this analysis, we will have to investigate further whether it is indeed combust or not. Further, we can also see that the moon, which is the Manakarak, 8th from moon has got a Tamograha, which is Mars. Again, not a very good sign. Again, if you look at the Chandra Lagna, yeah, it is also seen in many cases. When you look at Dasha analysis, we also have to look at Chandra Lagna. From the Chandra Lagna, we see that the moon, the 4th, which is a Kendra, has got a Tamograha. Okay, and if you look at this particular aspect, that is from the moon, again the Kendra should never have what you call as the malefic or Tamograha. Okay, that is one other thing which I have seen that can cause problems, okay, to the mind, especially because the 4th is again related to mental peace, mind. So that could also be other reason here. Let's go into the Kaaga Rekha. Back to Kaaga Rekha. As I told you that it is active between 32 and 48. If you look at the Dasha sequence during the Shani Dasha, which will probably start in 2035, and then in the Shani's in the Buddha Buddha Bhukti, we call it Apaharam. So in Buddha, Mercury Apaharam or Bhukti or Antardasha, which starts in 2038, there seems to be some hope as far as this guy is concerned. I'll tell you why. From the palm, it is definitely seen. You see this particular thing, this Rekha goes and cuts. After this Rekha goes and cuts, this particular thing ends here, and then you will see that there is a strengthening of Shani Rekha. It means Shani Rekha has got now some support. This support, which is probably going to aid this person not only in recovery, but also can do some kind of positive, some can bring some kind of positivity to the bhagya. Because let us see why. Because see, Mercury is in the bhagya sthan. So in Kerala paddhati, when we look at a dasha, Antardasha, again let me tell you, Antardasha is very important here. So Antardasha is that of the Bhagyesh, of the Graha which is in the Bhagya Sthan, So if you look at the 10th Lord's Dasha and the 7th Lord Dasha, this Mercury's Dasha will definitely give a boost to the Bhagya as well. Now in palmistry, Bhagya Rekha is seen, Bhagya Rekha is generally the Shani Rekha, correct? But when we map it into the Parashari, we should map it in terms of the Dashas or the Bhava, okay? Which means the 9th house. The Bhagyesh is the Bhagyasthan represents the Shani Rekha here. I hope you understand. Even the karma also, because we have to look at both the aspects here, because it's luck line as well as the karma. So here this is getting activated. If you look at the age 48, that's when the Kaaga Rekha also terminates. The Kaaga Rekha's tail or the mouth is getting cut, and it ends here. So everything matches as far as the Dasha sequence and the Astropalmistry parameters are concerned. Yes, this analysis requires a lot of depth. I am also looking at a lot of factors. The last but not the least is the progress Jupiter. You see, that's the secret in Astropalmistry. You see here how I took the Kaaga Rekha was based on the progress Jupiter. You have to identify this particular part, and you know what that means if you have learned the signs of Graha properly. This is the sign which shows that the Jupiter is active, therefore on the Mars, obviously. So you see the Jupiter which is at 32 is on the Mars. Mars is Deha Karak. Mars, whenever Jupiter touches Mars, some kind of health related issues generally crop up, something like that happens, okay? So that is important, and because this Jupiter is on Mars, it also is in trines to Shani, again related to health or sorrow or some kind of difficulty or obstacles. Therefore that's also important here. And in general astrology, Mercury is also nerves, so nervous, something related to nerves also can be seen, because again this is in trines. So overall, that's how I see the trigger. The trigger is generally seen from the Jupiter, progress Jupiter. This is the progress Jupiter, which is very important, and that's one of the top secrets in Astropalmistry, which we generally employ to see and to do birth time adjustment. I will not call it rectification, that is absurd, but time adjustment or Dasha sequence adjustment is done using this. This is something which definitely works. As of 2022, I have done 400 charts plus palms. I've seen this working beautifully. So I leave it to you to kind of do more research on it, because I will be doing more and more palms and charts. So based on my analysis, I will refine my findings, modify them, or bring out and kind of show you more and more stuff that is not available in the books. So it is important to also do your own research, but keep in mind that you need to have the basics of Nadi or the principles of Nadi upheld every time. You cannot have a disregard for the Nadi principles or Parashara principles and say this is my own research. No, this is not my own research. This is my own findings based on the Nadi principles, based on what I have learned from Sri R.G. Rao sir and from Sri N. Srinivasan Shastri sir. So, of course, they have given the knowledge, or they have given the sutras which are so critical in understanding these little aspects of Patrika, that means Kundali, as well as the palm. Namaskar.